Alright, so this is not as many comics I'd like to do for comic reviews as of this year. I'd like to do like one of the partial New Year's resolutions for this channel was if I'm doing comic reviews to, unless I have to return them, this is the case of this time around, I had to return some of these, so I gotta review, even if it's only 5, I just gotta review them. I want to do more than 4, and not 5. You know, 5 is like, it's like, oh, that's more than 4, huh? No, I wanted to be like, I think like 7 or 7 and above is a good comic review video for me. It's satisfying for me. However, I gotta return one of these and to do a video on that one, kind of silly. And to say, oh, go to my Instagram where I review these. I do review these comics. All these comics have been reviewed on my Instagram account, save for one. So, but even that's kind of quitting. And to do I can't do a community post that those expire. So I have to kind of just bite the bullet and be like, hey, it's 5. Let that be satisfying enough. Also, some of these some of these books I got this month, so I probably won't be doing at least something towards the end of the month, because I have a vacation coming. So I'll be like, oh, the comics I'll be reading while I'm on vacation. Maybe I'll do that this month around, but I don't know. Hell, I still haven't done the November, December, and now January Image books that I've read this month. So I like to do those, but I'm just so far behind on videos. That's more because of how much it takes to do those videos, and it's a lot tougher to do those videos than it is to do this video. Because this video is pretty easy. Like, I can knock this out in under 10 minutes if I so desired, or up to 10 minutes. Like, this video should not take more than 10 minutes to film. Comic hauls are just like, I got the comics, and usually like, unless it's Christmas or my birthday, it's like at the most 11 comics. So it's pretty quick to do. Like, oh, here's this book, here's that book, here's what it collects, here's the artwork, here's who writes it, who does the artwork, colorist, all that. And that will take, it does take, the last one took like, it's like 40 minutes to do, but I have all the comics with me, you know. The November, those are all on my shelf, the November, December, and January, and somewhere else in my closet. So there's that, and there's also reviewing up to 20 comics. So that's definitely different. It's a lot of ambition, too. I almost am thinking of just saying, like, hey, let's go to my Instagram. But time will tell if I do that. Without further ado, let's get into it. First up being Jiro Taniguchi's The Walking Man. This is what I've had forever. Straight up had forever. I almost want to say it was before December. It was pretty damn ludicrous how long I've had this book. I did not read it. That is pretty telling of how I've been recently with my time management skills. A lot of the reason why part of the reason why I've been holding off on the November, December, and January Image books I read that month videos is because my time management skills are pretty damn bad. I say after this comic, or I'll read these comics at this time, so I have plenty of time to do this and then that. Like, there are movies I didn't get to watch because time ran out. Now, this time around, it's Conjuring 3 and 4, and I'm kind of like, do I even want to watch Conjuring 3 and 4? When the second one, I had more issues with it than the first time around I watched Conjuring 2. So that's at least an exception. But I swear to God, if I don't end up watching the new Naked Gun movie they've had for a while, but I'm holding off on for a reason. That's more just like I can... Naked Gun I'm holding off on because I can renew it for longer than the other movies. So it's like, oh, you know, that is actually a good indication of me being more able to manage my time better, is because I am holding, it's like, oh, Naked Gun is due their date, then is the Conjuring movies. And I think it was the one I got before that was also due sooner. So that's how I think of the Naked Gun. It's like, oh, I had this for some time, so I just hold off on it. But yeah, if I still don't end up watching that movie, I'm going to, like, the next month I'll cut my comics in half. Like, straight up what I'm gonna do. It's more just the reading the comics, which honestly, hey, better able to do more reviews. Very able to do more reviews. Yeah, that made sense. More comics to review for these comic reviews, and you know, and then more uploads for Instagram. So it does work out in the end. However, the fact that I've had this book for a very long time because I kept pushing it off, That's not good. But anyways, I end up liking this one. This was one that I think is slightly overhyped, but I think it's also a good example of me just thinking it's gonna be more than it actually was. As a slice of life, just seeing, I guess this takes place over a week's time. Actually, no, it's at the end. It's not a week, but taking place over time in this man's life. It's good. It's literally, the title does not lie at all. It's about a man who walks. And it's The Walking Man. It's pretty good. It's a slice of life, very easy going, even more slice of life than a lot of other slice of life comics are. I really wish there was another word for slice of life than slice of life. I hate saying the same goddamn word over and over again. But for those more like laid back comics, this one's really laid back, like double the amount that you think it would be. Like the people who say, oh, nothing happened, like in the A24 movies like 8th Grade and movies like that, when they say nothing really happened in these movies, that is doubly so with The Walking Man. But I still enjoyed this one. I still do recommend it, and I give it an 8 out of 10. There's not a whole lot to say about this book. However, there's a lot to say about Supergirl. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, Tom King had a very love-hate relationship with him as a writer, and it's more hate for him as a person. I just kind of can't stand him. Now, I don't keep up with what he's been doing, especially recently, but the whole Jay Lee thing just really puts a bad taste in my mouth with how I feel about him as a person. However, I don't let that what's the word? Come on, why can't I words tonight? I don't let that be a judge for his content. That doesn't sound right. I don't let that cloud my judgment. That's the word. Cloud my judgment for his written work. It is literally I can't say literally without saying literally. Thank you, Leafy. He's here, and all the people make fun of him. I literally can't think. I can't think. I literally I'm thinking that. I literally no. Okay. Talk about Tom King. I said a thing about his comics. Oh, it's a literally example of, for Tom King, it's the example of separating the art from the artist. Like the best example of that. Now, Warren Ellis is, yes, even better than that, but for me personally, Tom King is the quintessential example of separating the art from the artist. Even then, there's Strange Adventures and Mr. Miracle that I feel very interchangeable. They're kind of the same comic for me. Those are the greatest examples. This is one thing I forgot to mention in my Instagram review, so those of you who are a fan of both my Instagram channel and my YouTube channel, getting a little bit extra here. But one complaint that a lot of people have about Tom King's work is it seems like he writes the same book over and over and over again, and nowhere was that more apparent than for me when reading Strange Adventures and then reading Mr. Miracle. Really felt those had the same kind of plot beats, and it was, again, interchangeable. But I wouldn't say it was exactly like the exact same book. There are some differences where I could say, oh, I know this is a Mr. Miracle and this is Strange Adventures. Like if you just told me the plot of each, I'd probably say that's Strange Adventures and that is Mr. Miracle. But you'd have to get a little bit more specific. So that's where the interchangeable thing comes along, because you tell me the basic plot, it's not this time to be like, is that Strange Adventures? Oh no, it's Mr. Miracle, damn it. Or vice versa. Supergirl Woman Tomorrow is quintessential everything I hate about, in a nutshell, everything I hate about Tom King's work. It is superficially written, the narration is overwritten, and it's just a slog to get through. It's just so full of itself. So let's have the characters talk the way that characters don't talk, like that people don't talk in real life. I know these are alien characters, so there's a reason why they talk a bit different, and I get that part. I get that whole, like, using the alien words, the alien slang, if you will, like that, like 2 parsecs of a Clintar's moon, that kind of talk. I don't mind that. It's just the overindulgence of this superficial talk that I feel like even if you're writing alien characters, that's not how you write their dialogues. And it's just incessant too. So much of this, each issue is filled to the brim with narration that does nothing for the story other than make Tom King feel like he has a bigger head than he actually does. And that is, at the end of the day, how I felt this book. It's just a big way for Tom King to feel like he has a bigger head than he actually does. 5 out of 10, with the asterisk that I do still recommend his this book, as I recommend all of his work, because I do seem to be in the minority for my takes on Tom King's writing. And I did really like Helen of Windhorn. That was really good. That was honestly not even just good for Tom King, but good in general, like really good in general. Like one of those books I felt like deserved the Eisner win. That's how good that was. This one is just a snooze. Not a snooze, a slog to get through. Not exactly a snooze. One thing I will give this, one big praise I'll give this book is I never wanted to give up on it and then just throw it in the trash and throw it in the return bin, in this case, the library book. Before I even finished it, I did want to finish it, see how it all panned out. So there was at least that level of interest, which is why I give it a 5 out of 10. I think it's a fair score to give it. And as a side note, that's why I hate out of 5 scores. Just 2 stars seems too low, 3 stars seems too high. And most review sites won't let you do 2.5. It's about what I give it. Even then, 2.5, I don't know. But 5 out of 10 is the perfect rating for something like Supergirl Women of Tomorrow. Do a Powerbomb. The complete opposite of Supergirl Women of Tomorrow. This one was really damn good. Really surprisingly emotionally resonant too. Resonant to, like, they pack the emotion into this comic, and it earns every emotion that it's trying to give off, and it succeeds too. And Danny Warren Johnson was never that writer I was super crazy about. Wonder Woman Dead Earth, I do need to read again to give my full thoughts on it, but as it stands, I was like, yeah, that's good, but I don't know what the fuss is about. This, I definitely do. This is my favorite, the best thing I've read from Daniel Warren Johnson, by far, and it's too early to tell. This is only in February, but I can tell this will definitely be in my top 10 comics of all time. The top 10 comics of 2026 video that I'll never make, because I didn't do one for last year. I don't think I'll make one this year. Maybe I will, but if I do actually make that video, expect this one to be shown there. 9.5 out of 10. I'm keeping that one vague because one thing I will say about this book, and you can kind of tell especially from the back of it, this is about wrestling. One thing I'll give it is that this is an actual example of you don't have to be a fan of insert sport here or insert whatever the hell here to enjoy it. When those car movies are coming out, like Ford vs. Ferrari, Logan Lucky, and most recently F1, all the reviews are saying, like, oh, you don't have to be a fan of car racing to like this movie. And I watched Ford vs. Ferrari, and I was like, you kind of do. And that's why I'm still very skeptical to watch F1. But this is, like, if they said that about this, and I believe them. Like, if this was the first example of that, and then F1 came out after, I'd watch F1. That's how good this one was. You do not have to be into wrestling at all to enjoy this book. I'm not into wrestling at all. Couldn't be bothered to ever watch it. Even after reading this, I still have the same feelings about wrestling as a whole. But this, really damn good. Clean Room, Volume 3 of 3. One of the most bizarre comics I've read of all time, but also one of the best comics I've read of all time. Top 20. I'm not going to go that crazy about it, but definitely top 20 material. Gail Simone knocks it out of the park and gives us just one of these. So I've read this before, so, obviously I didn't know where it's going to end, having read it before. When I first read it, I had no idea where the story was going, and it is one of those books you will want to read twice. 9.5 out of 10. Then in Deep Cuts, I still think that this one, the third issue is the best. I still think that. Second issue I think is the most just alright, kind of most mediocre. But I almost want to say that I didn't like every issue of this, like really like every issue of this the first time I read it. So I want to say it was a massive improvement, but also I don't think I really felt that different. I think it was more just I missed some details, and this time around I read it again, so you gather more detail. You learn more as you read, more repetition, all that. That's happened this time. But it is good. And like with Do a Power Bomb, you don't need to be a fan of jazz to enjoy this. But that second issue was kind of just alright. Third issue is best. Like, third issue, I still think is... Like, that should have won an Eisner. They do Eisner. They actually do Eisners for single issues. That should have at least been nominated. But Kyle Higgins writes this. Did I go over the authors for every book? Oh my god, I did. I did without thinking. And Kyle Higgins, I didn't really like his Power Rangers, and his Nightwing I really liked. But Kyle Higgins has never been on the map for me. If he writes more stuff like he wrote, if he writes more like he wrote Deep Cuts, especially that third issue, he will become a household name. That's how much I enjoyed Deep Cuts. 8 out of 10.